Yes. The next one is being overly sensitive. Sometimes, some sister is making a joke and it hurt us, that joke, we feel that she's actually meaning something else to hurt us or something like this. That's is extra sensitivity. It could be like anxiety or someone going through some kind of like depression or some kind of like hardships, and so their self-confidence become lower. And when someone because self-confidence become lower, they start doubting everything. They start doubting people around them, what they say. They don't love me, they don't, they don't care about me, or she's doing this or that. Like when you are around a sister, you're so careful that this sister, if you tell her anything, she's going to get mad. So I have to be very sensitive about her. It's like we're walking on the eggshells around her. That's what they say, you know or like stepping on her toes. So what we need to do is, us as people always have the good manners, akhlaq. We often add to our pain and suffering by being overly sensitive. It could be the problem from us because we just think too much about what other people say, or think too much about what they meant, or something like this. So it's better just to leave it as is. She said yes, she said no. It doesn't mean anything. It means no to answer to that question, and that's it. By being overly sensitive, overreacting to minor things, and sometimes taking things too personally. When someone says something, always give excuses for them, why they said it and why they hurt me this way. Even like one of the Jafar bin Muhammad is one of the great scholars. He said even to 70,000 excuse give them. And by the way, a lot of people think that this is actually a hadith. It's not a hadith. It's actually one of the scholars. He said that. He said, give to your brother an excuse, even to 70,000 excuse. So if someone says something that hurt you or said something, always give them excuses. Why she said that? Maybe she's having a bad time. Maybe she doesn't have money that she doesn't want to go with us. Maybe she didn't say salam alaikum because she was thinking about something and she was like spaced out or something. Like she walked next to you and you saw her, she saw you and she didn't say salam alaikum. Is she angry or something? So maybe no, maybe that she's thinking about her kids in the school, or maybe that she has somebody sick in the house, or something like that. And she's like her mind is not with her, like this. Sometimes it happens. So don't overthink. Don't just take it, and then say salam, like come again, say salam alaikum, sister. How are you today? And smile in her face. And you see that she's gonna be smiling and everything. And if she feels comfortable enough, she's gonna open her heart and tell you what's going on. Inshallah. So give them excuses for anything that they do. Inshallah. What if I make a mistake? A lot of people have really good ego. A lot of narcissist people in our community that they wouldn't say sorry. But sometimes they express their sorry in a different way, right? Especially the men. They don't like to say sorry. But they tell you, okay, well, instead of saying sorry, how about we go out for lunch today? What are you doing tonight? Something like that. That's their sorry. Or they give you a gift like a sorry, but they don't want to say it sorry. It's too hard. you know it will hurt them. It will cut their dignity a little bit. So subhanallah, but us as sisters, it's easier for us to say sorry, right? Even if it's not our fault, we say sorry. Yeah, just to make things go, just to keep going, right? Like sometimes the husband or the children make it so hard on us, but you say I'm sorry just to keep things going. Sometimes we do that, right? And that's a good thing, by the way. Allah will reward you for it. That you actually the one who was not the you were not the one who made the problem. You actually reduced the problem. You reduced that tension. Subhanallah. Yeah, that's actually a hadith for the Prophet ﷺ. When someone actually travels from one side to another, or even at the end, what do? They say, if you say something wrong, forgive me. So when I leave, you still have the good memories about me. Instead of, say that if I'm going to Hajj, or going to like overseas or something like that, you tell the sisters, please, if I say something wrong, please forgive me. Like this. And subhanallah, kafarat al-majlis. When we say subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. So if we say something wrong or something bad, or if we did ghiba by mistake or something like this, you ask Allah for forgiveness. You're saying to Allah sorry, right? You're saying to Allah sorry, right? Some people who have so much ego that they don't want to let go in an argument or in a fight. And that happens in our community so much, so much, that that community is a small community already, a small masjid. And I know one actually is about 30 minutes away from here. It's a very small community. And then suddenly, that was 10 years ago, and then suddenly two people started arguing with each other. So this man, he brought his friends and everything, he left the masjid and he opened a masjid right next to it, a smaller one. Why? Because they want to be the ones who have the last word, so they can feel that they're winners. And that happens to us all the time, especially the husband and wife. You know, the man says something, the woman says something, the man says something, the woman has to respond, the man respond back, the woman has to respond. It's like it goes back and forth, but it never end. Do you have to have the person to have the last word? Say, khalas, okay, okay, as you wish. But at the end, you do what you want. So, khalas, okay? So, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever say something good or be quiet. Don't try to be negative. Some men and women, when they argue with each other, they just want to argue and then they say things that it is not true about the other person, just to hurt them. Just to hurt them. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna break that ego in you. You're this and that, and you start cussing them out or something like that. Or the man start cussing the woman out, saying bad things about her or about her parents or something like this, just to make her angry. And then after they get reconciled and good, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I just said that because I want to make you angry. Subhanallah. Remember that the Prophet ﷺ, he say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put somebody in hellfire for 70 falls for one word you said the other person to break their heart. Subhanallah, right? So no, we have to be very careful in what we said. Yes. Oh, it's just a joke. Yeah. To hurt your feelings. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, subhanallah. So if you say something like this, like, don't answer back. Just be quiet and say, Allah forgives you for what you said. And trust me, that person will come back and apologize. And even if they don't apologize, you forgive them. You know why? Because when you forgive somebody, you don't forgive somebody because the other person feeling bad and coming to say sorry to you. You forgive that person so you can have a peace of mind. So you don't have to think about it all the time. Yes, and it's a strength for in you. That's a strength in you that you can keep going happily even if other people cuss you out and say bad things about you. You keep going. We have an Arabic saying, he say, al-qafila tasir wal-kilabu tanbahu. The caravan keeps going while the dogs keep barking. So let them bark. Just keep going. I'm not talking about the other people are dogs, so we don't want to say that. If you know that what you're doing is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you shouldn't be worried about what people say. Because at the end, Allah yudafi'u 'an alladhina amanu. Allah will defend the ones who believe. And believe not just by heart, by doing the good thing, the right thing. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever leaves an argument when is in the right, like even if you're right, and you leave that argument because you don't want to argue anymore, you just leave, okay? What happened? Allah will build him a house in the highest part of paradise. Why? Because you know you're right, and you know that what is happening, right? Trust me, the one who is arguing with you already have a wall, a psychological or mental wall in front of you. He doesn't want to hear you. They just want to argue back, even if they're on the wrong. Why? Because they want to feel that they achieved something. They want to feel that they have the victory. They won the argument. You don't tell them you're right. You say okay, and that's it. Don't say you're right and you know that they're not right. Say, and then when they calm down, you can either write them a message or you can come back, like if you want to fix their problem. But if you know that this whatever they're thinking, that it's not really actually doing any harm, they just want to have خلاص خليه, let him think of what he wants to think, and خلاص, like that. Okay, so sometimes it's best just to move on. If you really want to give someone advice, it should be done through counsel, not through disputation. Okay, and if you see someone that they have really problems, like especially woman and wife, and they keep arguing with each other, it's always advised to have a counselor. Always. Family counselor. Inshallah.